The gap between Chinese cycling accessories and Western cycling accessories is getting smaller and smaller because Chinese brands are now releasing products that are often just as good, sometimes even better, for half the price. So in this video, I'm going to go over some very innovative cycling accessories that I'd say in many cases are actually better than their Western equivalents, and they're priced a lot cheaper. So this video is sponsored by RAVEMEN, which I'm incredibly grateful for supporting this channel, because buying all of these cycling accessories, well, to put it bluntly, I wouldn't be able to afford to make this video if it wasn't for the support of brands like RAVEMEN. So a massive thank you to them, and I'll talk about some very impressive bike lights they recently released a bit later on in the video. Also a bit later on in the video, I finally found a pair of sunglasses that were about $35 that are better than my $250 Oakley Saphira sunglasses. When I leave the house for a ride, I reach out for these cheaper Chinese sunglasses a lot more often than the much more expensive Oakleys, because there's one feature that I really value that these sunglasses have that the Oakleys don't. Anyway, let's start this list with maybe the most innovative cycling accessory on this list. Let me just clear the table. I'll leave Mia here because she's sleeping. Okay, so I review a lot of different bike lights on this channel. At this point, I have maybe, I'd say 20, 25 bike lights in my drawer. But this is a very different bike light. This doesn't look like any other bike light I've ever seen. There are a lot of features on this tiny light. So let's start with the folding mechanism here, because this is really quite clever. You can fold it closed like that so that it's small and compressed. You can get a magnetic stand for it, which is, these are both magnetic, so I can put it here and use it as a desk light if I wish. You can clip it to your backpack for when you're hiking or when you're riding your bike. You can clip it behind you in a jersey pocket and it snaps very snugly. This light isn't going anywhere. Because the light is so compact and versatile, I can see it being very useful as a spare backup light, because you can store this in your jersey pocket and you won't even notice it's there. Another feature that makes it so versatile, which I think I don't have any other light that does this is a front light, so it shines white like this, but also if I double click, the warmth changes, and also I get a red light as well. I do like, because I don't have any other bike lights that do this, I do like that it can change the warmth of the white light from a warm yellow to a cold white. Just running through the specifications, it has a 70 lumen rear red light and a 300 lumen front white light, which is more than bright enough for riding on the bike either in day or nighttime. It has a 14-hour battery life with a Type-C charging port. It's IPX5 water resistant, and it's available in 3 different colours: green, blue, brown, and of course I have the green colour here. But an aspect of the light that the specifications don't really highlight is the build quality. This feels very good quality. It is constructed of aluminium alloy plus silicon, and it is lightweight, but it feels solid too, like it's going to last you a while. Okay, so I do like, it's called the SparkO, but it's not perfect. What do I think could be improved? So firstly, it's IPX5, which means you can ride in heavy rain without worrying too much, but don't drop this in water or blast it with a pressure washer. It's a good kind of middle ground rating that covers 95% of real world cycling conditions. Saying that, most other bike lights that I own are IPX6, with some even being IPX7. So the SparkO is on the lower side when it comes to how waterproof it is. Another thing, when this is charging, the red light turns on, acting as an indicator that it's charging, but it's so bright and it just feels like a bit of a waste of electricity, because usually I charge the SparkO overnight, and so it's just kind of lighting up my living room with this big bright red light. Overall though, the innovation on this is really good to see. I've not seen another bike light like it. It feels solid, it's so ridiculously versatile. Yeah, super impressed. Also, before I forget, I buy, as you can tell from this video, loads and loads of Chinese cycling gear, clothing, accessories, bikes. I test them out and then I review them on this channel. And so I was thinking, what if I scored every single product I've ever reviewed on this channel out of 100 and then create one big leaderboard? Well, that's exactly what I did. I ranked every product in terms of what's ridiculously good value for money, all the way down to things that are probably not worth buying. And I keep it updated. I add new products to it every week. If you do want to check this out, I've dropped a link in the description below where you can access this leaderboard completely for free. Okay, so next we have the most expensive product on this list, which is $415. But very shortly, you'll understand why this BikeLite essentially is $415, because the amount of technology they've packed into this is really quite impressive. It's the CYCLIQ Fly 6 Pro bike camera, and for transparency, CYCLIQ did send me this unit out for a review, so a huge thank you to them for supporting the channel and keeping us alive. I've been testing this camera out for the last couple of months, and I can very confidently conclude that this is the best rear bike camera I've ever tested. Rear bike cameras are becoming more and more common because in the case of an incident involving a car, for example, that maybe drives by a bit too close and their wing mirror just clips you and you end up on the floor. It's like, where's the evidence that the car actually hit you? It's your word against theirs. Well, if you have a camera on the back of your bike, at least you've got some evidence. And I know in some countries like the UK where I'm from, you can report drivers that break the law, and the police a lot of the time do actually, surprisingly, do something about it and contact the driver and sometimes find them if you have video of it. But more importantly, if you are in an accident and let's say it was a driver's fault and you have video evidence. So really the camera is just to kind of cover your back, especially if you're wanting to claim on the car driver's insurance or if the incident goes to court. The Fly 6 is also a rear bike light, and you can see it has two red lights integrated into it with loads of different modes and flashing patterns that you can cycle through. The rear lights are 100 lumens, so more than bright enough for day or nighttime use, and you can film up to 7 hours of continuous recording with its ultra-wide 145-degree field of view 4K 30 FPS video. It also has electronic image stabilization 2.0, so footage from most bike cameras are quite shaky, especially the cheaper cameras, but the CYCLIQ EIS does make a big difference in making the footage actually usable, where you can actually see registration plates. Another feature which you won't find in more budget bike cameras is incident protection mode. So if you have an accident on your bike, the camera detects with its inbuilt gyroscope when your bike leans over a certain angle, and the Fly 6 will automatically trigger incident protection. So if it goes like this on the back of your bike, then it will automatically trigger incident protection mode, locking the video and audio either side of the incident, which I think is quite clever. There are a lot of features on the Fly 6. Another one I like is that I don't need to plug it into my laptop or my phone with a cable to transfer video files over. I just connect the camera to Wi-Fi, I open up their app on my phone, and all my videos are stored on my phone. So very convenient, no cables required. It has an IP67 waterproof rating, which means it's completely dustproof and can be submerged underwater up to 1 meter deep for 30 minutes without any damage. And I can vouch for this. I've taken the Fly 6 out in torrential rain where my bike got absolutely filthy, but the Fly X never skipped a beat. You can get two different mounts for it, one that attaches directly to the seat post, which comes with the Fly 6, or you can upgrade to the saddle rail mount, but both hold the Fly 6 rock solid on the back of your bike. You can also upgrade to their safety lanyard that you can attach to your bike, so if you do go, let's say, over a big bump, the Fly 6 won't just fly off your bike, never to be seen again, but it'll just dangle down and the lanyard will stop you from losing it. Not that you would lose it anyway, I mean the mount is rock solid. In terms of what I don't like about it, honestly, there's not much. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. I'd say if you were, let's say, a bit of a weight weenie, it might be on the heavier side for you. If you have a super light race bike, it's 151 grams, which isn't even that heavy, but if you didn't need a camera, you can get a super light rear light for like 30 grams if you really cared about weight. And I think the only other thing I can think of is the price. It is on the premium side for a bike light and a 4K camera, but at the same time, I totally get it. It's a very refined, well thought out, well constructed product. And so the price does reflect that. And if you do want to check this camera out, I'll add a link in the description below. Okay, so I've tested a lot of Chinese and Western bike lights, and I'm always on the hunt for that perfect combination of brightness, battery life, features, reliability, all that kind of stuff. The last few weeks, I've been putting the RAVEMEN FR500 front light through its paces, and right off the bat, the features that make it stand out from every other light is the Garmin mount on top. So you can have your light here, and if you have a bike computer, I'm going to use this Garmin as an example, you can have your Garmin on top. And I just think it's a very nice, neat unit. The light output is also very bright at 500 lumens, and it lights up the road ahead of you with enough clarity to spot potholes, debris, any other obstacle well before you reach them, giving you plenty of time to react safely. For me, 500 lumens is the sweet spot in terms of how bright you'd want a light to see the road clearly ahead of you at night time, but particularly in the city where there's pedestrians, where there's traffic, and having this light downwards, 500 lumens is perfect. I wouldn't really want to be using 900, 1500 lumens in very populated areas. RAVEMEN uses 2 high brightness LEDs with what they call a unique lens projection effect. And I can see the difference compared to single LED lights I've used before. The beam pattern is wide enough to illuminate the road ahead properly, but it's not so scattered that you're wasting light or potentially blinding oncoming traffic. But what really sets this light apart though is the smart features. So the auto on-off function works surprisingly well. When you stop for more than a couple of minutes, it automatically shuts off to save battery. Then it turns back on when it detects movement. I was honestly skeptical at first about this because I've had smart bike light accessories that were more annoying than helpful, but this one actually works as advertised. Perfect for those kind of quick coffee shops or when you're waiting at traffic lights. Now, battery life. You're getting up to about 36 hours of battery life with this. What's really clever is that you can use it as a power bank to charge your bike computer, your phone if needed. I haven't had to use this feature, but it is reassuring to know it's there for longer rides where the Garmin or my phone, because my phone's battery is terrible, might be running low. Build quality feels premium at 101 grams. It's not the lightest light on the market, but it definitely doesn't feel unnecessarily heavy either. The IPX6 water resistance held up pretty well through some pretty heavy downpours. For daytime riding, the flashing modes are extremely very eye-catching. It's actually one of the most noticeable or most extreme flashes. It's almost like lightning flashes. Definitely attention-grabbing, that's for sure. And then there's the RAVEMEN TR150 rear light. Now, this isn't just another blinking red light. It's got some genuine smart features that make it stand out from a lot of the other bike lights that I have. So I've been using this light for 4 or 5 weeks, and it's a really impressive rear light. It does exactly what you need it to. It has an automatic brake light function, which is a nice feature to have. So basically when you brake, the light automatically brightens for 3 seconds to alert drivers behind you. I was curious how sensitive this would be. Would it trigger every time I lightly feather the brake? But it's actually well calibrated. It picks up proper braking events without going off constantly. And that extra brightness definitely gets attention from cars behind you. Like the front light, it has that kind of auto on-off feature. After 2 minutes of being stationary, it shuts off automatically and turns back on when it detects movement. And this has saved my battery a couple of times when I've forgotten to manually turn it off after rides. At only 50 grams, you barely even notice it's there, but the 150 lumen output is very bright, as you'd kind of want. The battery life is really good too. You'll get about 18, 19 hours from this. The mounting options are versatile too. It comes with mounts for round seat posts. I really like the kind of mini Garmin mounts. I don't like the elastic. I don't have any examples here, but like this elastic here, where you get some lights where you put the band around the seat post. I don't like those. They're a little bit flimsy, but with these Garmin mounts, The same with this Garmin mount, same with this Garmin mount. I really like these. They're so easy to just turn it onto your bike, then you turn it off your bike, really easy. And these last, as opposed to the elastic bands, which can eventually wear out and eventually snap. But this, I feel like, is the main thing that makes this stand out. It's the 280-degree field of view. So most rear lights are really only visible from directly behind, but with this light, you can clearly see it from the sides too. And this is huge for safety, especially when you're riding through intersections or when cars are approaching from side streets. The side visibility is genuinely impressive and something I didn't realize I was missing until I have it. I don't think any of my lights have this level of side visibility. The IPX6 water resistant matches the front light, so no worries on whether they're going to get water inside them. Another feature that, again, almost no other bike light I have is that this has a clip that you can attach to your jersey pocket or even your backpack if you're commuting. It just makes the light that bit more versatile and shows that RAVEMEN have really thought through the design and usability of this light. But yeah, both front and rear Rave lights, very good bike lights, highly recommend. I'll drop links to both of these in the description below. Okay, so I mentioned at the beginning of this video a pair of sunglasses that have pretty much, the time I've worn them, become my favorite pair of sunglasses. And I have maybe, I don't know, anywhere from 7 to 12 pairs of cycling sunglasses at this point. But I always used to automatically reach for my Oakleys every time I go for a ride, until I tried out these Revoray sunglasses. Now, I have two pairs, one pair which I absolutely love, the other pair which are okay. The pair that I find are just okay are these Revoray NEX 2 sunglasses. And before I start, Revoray sent me these two pairs of sunglasses to review. They didn't even want a review on the channel. They just asked me for a couple of pictures of me wearing them to put on their website, and that's it. So they don't even know I'm reviewing them in this video. So I was looking forward to these because they have what Revoray call Patina Tech Pro Plus blue-green color enhancing lenses, similar to the Oakley's Prism lenses, where they basically enhance specific colors and increase the contrast slightly. And in their own words, their lenses provide enhanced blue-green spectrum, improves depth perception for quick reactions, which it does, but honestly, I like the Prism lenses of the Oakleys a lot more because you just get a much more noticeable color enhancing effect. So overall, these are very good sunglasses. They're comfortable, they're built well, the lenses are impact resistant. I do like the color contrast lens technology, but these are not the sunglasses that impress me the most. These are okay, but I much prefer, interestingly enough, the far cheaper option, which is the Revoray Brisk Y1 high contrast sunglasses. So these are the sunglasses I reach for almost, probably about 90% of the time I go for a ride on my bike. And for one reason, well, two reasons. Firstly, they are the most comfortable sunglasses I own. I have Lameda sunglasses, Rockbro sunglasses, Oakleys, and these Revoray sunglasses. And the Oakleys and Revorays are on par with each other in terms of comfort. But these Revoray sunglasses, they cost $40 to $45, and the Oakleys, $250. The second feature that these have, actually that the Oakleys don't have, I just like how much eye or face coverage you get with these. They protect my eyes from the wind when riding fast on the bike slightly more than the Oakleys do, just because they're bigger. Also, when I'm on my aero bars and I'm looking up like that, because the lenses are quite big, I don't see the frame of the sunglasses, which I do with some other sunglasses. And the fact that they're, 6 times cheaper than my Oakleys, I don't mind just throwing these in my jersey pocket. Or if I'm riding, if a stone is thrown up and hits the lens, I'm not that bothered because they're relatively affordable. They're well made, impact resistance. They also have the same Patina Tech Pro high contrast lenses, which the other Revoray sunglasses have, which according to Revoray defines color better, reduces glare, improves depth perception, enhances visibility for crystal clear vision, and adapts well to different lighting conditions, which it's really nice to see that kind of technology on relatively affordable $40 sunglasses, but don't expect the same kind of level of color enhancing as the Oakley Prism lenses. So what don't I like about these? There's not honestly that much. I really genuinely love these sunglasses. The only thing I can think of is I like to ride with my sunglasses propped on top of my helmet if it's early morning and the sun hasn't come up, or later evening when the sun has gone down. And these slot on top of my helmet nicely, but when I want to take them out, the arms get stuck inside my helmet. So I have to stop my bike, take off my helmet, carefully take the sunglasses off my helmet, then put my helmet back on and start riding again, which, to be fair, is more the helmet's fault than the sunglasses I wear in a Met Trenta MIPS helmet. But for the price, $40, $45, I can absolutely vouch for these sunglasses. A lot better than I expected, especially as I've never heard of the brand Revoray. And I can vouch for these, as long as you're not expecting super color enhancing technology like the Oakleys have. I really like the lenses of these. But for $40, I saved them for $40, but I have a massive 21% discount code. If you use the code BikeLabHQ at checkout, you get 21% discount off your order. And then they really do become a no-brainer. As always, links in the description to all the cycling gear I talk about in this video if you do want to check them out. And if you like this video, I have 2 more videos here and here. You can click on those cards on the screen to watch those.